Good day, everyone, and welcome into the senior high school orientation for your Google Classroom walkthrough. So in this pre-recorded video, we will discuss what is an OLOPS email, what's inside your OLOPS email, what is a Google Classroom, and what can you find inside the Google Classroom. So those four topics would be very helpful for this coming school year. So I hope you would finish this video. Before anything else, let me tell you that we are very excited to have you for school year 2020-2021. So I am Ma'am Nat, and I am one of the teachers in the senior high school department. There is a very big chance that I will be one of your teachers, so I am looking forward to meeting you virtually for now. Okay, so without further ado, let's begin our virtual tour for your OLOPS email and your Google Classroom. All right, so for the first part of our recorded orientation, we're going to discuss OLOPS email. So sa mga nakatanggap po ng email confirmation for their enrollment, nabanggit po doon na each enrolled student in the senior high school department will be given their own OLOPS email. And that OLOPS email is meant to be used for this school year, given nga po na home-based learning tayo. Now, ano po ba ang OLOPS email? Yung OLOPS email na tinatawag natin is powered by G Suite for Education under Google for Education. So, don't be confused po. It's a Gmail, pero it's solely issued by OLOPS. So instead of at gmail.com yung dulo, what you will see is at olops.edu.ph. So there are perks that you may use in connection with this email po, and we trust that our students will use their work email or their OLOPS email wisely. Siyempre po, using this email would subject you to the terms and conditions that are set both by Google and by the school. So, as much as possible, I do not recommend that you use your OLOPS email for personal things, such as your social media logins. I recommend po na you keep a personal email and a work email na magkahiwalay lang lagi para whatever happens, all of your data is not compromised, and at the same time, you keep that distinct line between your work or your school and your personal life. Kasi as we all know, given our setup for now, medyo nakaka-burn out na lagi tayong dapat available. Dapat lagi tayong nakakontact. So one way to combat that fatigue is to set that line between the personal and your work or school. The next question is, kailan ko po makukuha yung OLOPS email ko? Your OLOPS email will be distributed by your advisor on the first day of school, which is on August 5, 2020 po. Bale, kapag nagkita-kita po tayo sa Google Meet, you will use your personal email muna. And then after you spend the day with your advisor for your orientation, then that's the time that the advisor would give out your email addresses po. That's under the OLOPS domain. So that's the OLOPS email plus your temporary login credentials po, which of course we recommend you reset right after accessing your email. Siyempre para for your own privacy and protection na rin. So, pag natanggap niyo na po yung OLOPS email ninyo, you don't need to go to a special website. You can just go to gmail.com. So since this is under the Google platform po, although it's for the Google for Education platform specifically, it's still the same login po. But there are exciting features that's not present in your personal Gmail. So I think this is something that you might be excited about. So first, let's go to the Gmail website. So yung akin po, if you notice, naka-bookmark na siya, kaya medyo iba yung URL. Pero it's the same, google.com/gmail or directly gmail.com. Pareho lang po yan. So once you are on the homepage for Google or for Gmail, kindly click on sign in. You don't need to click on for work or for create an account kasi mayroon na po. So after you click on Gmail for the sign in button, so syempre, pupunta kayo dito sa sign in page, diba? Now, since I am on incognito, the other accounts that I usually use to log in are not shown for privacy po. Pero in here, I'll be using one of my dummy accounts na OLOPS account din. So you could see what's inside. Tapos syempre, how it would look like for a student access po. So let's sign in first. This is my test email. So this one, please don't email me. I'm not checking this inbox anymore. I just keep it for dummy purposes. So ayun po. So you just sign in that one. Usually for your email, ayan po. It's your first name dot last name at olops.edu.ph. So yun po yung usual format na sinusundan natin. We didn't offer the option of personalizing your email para, syempre, di ba, it's formal. So we use your given name for it. So ayan. So you click next and then it will ask you for your password. So syempre, there is a default password and it will be given on the first day. But for mine, I have already changed it. So it's a different one. I'm not gonna let you see my password. So click na lang natin yung next para mag-log in siya. So after mag-load niya ng login credentials mo, you will be taken to the Gmail homepage or inbox. And if you notice habang nag-load, nakalabay yung pangalan ng school. Diba? Kung napansin nyo yun. And this is how it looks like. Syempre, for new accounts like yours na never pang na-touch, you will have here default emails from Google. One is welcoming you to Gmail, and then the other one is asking you to set up your Gmail account. So I don't have those anymore kasi I've already personalized mine. Nakaset up na yung akin. Pero for you guys, you could definitely go ahead and, tinker around para ma-personalize nyo siya however you want it to look. There are changes with the Gmail platform in case hindi kayo masyado nag-check ng email, but starting this year, we're going to work on that life skill. So it's a life skill po to know how to handle emails. Syempre, before you think it's not needed until college or even until work, but with the way things are going now, especially for your generation, it's needed as early as senior high or junior high. Actually, even elementary students, they already have their own OLOPS accounts. So ayan. So you could personalize everything in here, but I won't touch that anymore kasi this is, for some other time. But in here, so you would see trash, the drafts. Then this is the meet link. So may shortcut na dyan. This is the waffle icon. We call it a waffle icon because it looks like a waffle. And then you can access all apps within the G Suite for Education platform. So if you notice, andyan na si Classroom. Actually, dalawa. Pero dito sa taas, pero dito sa baba. So, hindi dito po maliligaw. So, si Gmail, if you're using a personal Gmail, good for you. Hindi na kayo masyadong mangangapa for your OLOPS email. But this is how it looks like po. So yeah, you could personalize it. And for your OLOPS email, this is just a reminder that this is part of your code of conduct, okay? So I hope po na wala tayong magiging issues with students using their emails, the OLOPS emails sa kung saan-saang website. Please don't, because netiquette. We're gonna discuss that in one of our classes. So ayun po, just keep that in mind, okay? So in here po, ayan siya. And then Google Classroom, as I have mentioned, there are actually two ways of accessing it. Alright, so ayan po. So OLOPS email is Gmail, but it's for OLOPS. That's the easiest way to explain it para hindi na kayo magulo sa terminologies. Now let's move on to Google Classroom. So, as I have mentioned kanina, not everyone would know what Google Classroom is. Baka yung iba totally first time na marinig. Now, Google Classroom, for the benefit of those who have zero knowledge about it, is an example of a learning management system or LMS. I'm sure nung nag-start tayo mag-discuss about how this school year is going to look like, you have heard, you have read a lot of terms na parang kayo, ano daw, hindi ko gets. So we will break it down for you. A learning management system is technically a platform, okay? It can be for education or it can be for work. Hindi po siya solely na eduk lang, okay? So even some companies, big companies are using LMS po for their training. Kasi syempre, parte ng isang kumpanya ang training and development or learning and development. So, syempre, pag nagtatraining ka ng tao, di ba, lahat yung pasok doon. So, an LMS platform is not solely for school. Pwede po siyang gamitin kahit sa work. So, this is one advantage for you guys because, admittedly, during our time, your teacher's time, hindi po lahat kami exposed agad sa LMS. Yung iba sa amin, na-expose college na. So, nangangapa, college, nangangapa pa rin. Yung iba naman sa amin, totally never na-expose sa LMS during our school days. So, this is an advantage for you guys. And I'm really, really pushing for you to take advantage of this. So, in this one po, as you may see, ang LMS is one way for the teachers, because we are in the educational system. So, it's one way for the teacher to give out lessons, to give out activities that makes it easier for both the teacher and the students kasi everything is done paperless and virtually. Okay? So wala tayong issue ng, ma'am, nawawala yung ganito ko. Wala pong ganon sa Google Classroom. Okay? So, may mga ganon siya. Tapos, at the same time, it allows you to collaborate with your classmates. Although, of course, that's what an LMS is. And Google Classroom is an example of it. There are other brands na, of course, you may have heard of Blackboard, Canvas, Moodle, all of those are other options po. But we have decided to go with Google for Education since it's a trusted brand and it's very user-friendly, as I'll show you in a minute. Okay? So, Google Classroom po, there are different ways that you could access this. So, una is yung sa waffle icon, as we have mentioned. In here, you just go and then you click on Google Classroom. That's one way. Or kung medyo sanay ka namang lagi kang naka-online or you know how to record this one, you may go to classroom.google.com para diretso kayo sa link. For those who are using their laptop or their PC, you may just bookmark this one. Lalagyan nyo ng star. That way po, you don't get confused na asan nga ba ulit yun? Paano ko papupuntahan yun? You may bookmark it po. I personally bookmark my own access para hindi ako nangangapa saan ko siya mahahanap. Okay? Because that happens when we need to look for something, all of a sudden, your mind becomes blank. So you don't know what you're gonna do. Okay, so there. So to access your Google Classroom, all you would need is your OLOPS email. Again, we do not recommend that you stick to your personal email para po ma-access yung Google Classroom. That's because sticking with your personal email limits you instead of you taking advantage of the perks that come with your OLOPS email. And so this is how the Google Classroom dashboard looks like. So since this is the homepage, I call it the Google dashboard or Classroom dashboard. So as I have mentioned kanina, bawat subject ninyo would have your own Google Classroom. So if that is the case po, then you would have lots of Google Classrooms in your dashboard. Okay? So hindi lang po isa. Isa lang to kasi we're just doing a demo classroom. Pero you would have, depending on how many subjects you have for the first semester. The one you're seeing right now, if you notice, nakalagay yung name ng subject. We're using the subject codes para hindi naman yung super haba. Pero you will learn these subject codes. Okay, they're very easy to remember para you have an idea anong subject to. But that's the subject code that stands for Practical Research 2. And then in here, you would have the section po. So I didn't specify any section para fair or hindi biased. And then in here, you'll find the name of your teacher for that subject. So that's my full name. Yeah. I have a very beautiful name, I know. Thank you. Okay, so there. Now, if you notice in here, so ayan yung picture ni teacher, this is the header of your Google Classroom. Now, you might notice, ma'am, bakit sa'yo meron ng decline saka join? Tapos baka pag ako nag-login ako, wala akong makita. That's because po, I have been invited in that classroom by my teacher. Okay? If you have received an invite and entered yung email nyo dun sa platform at in-invite kayo to join the classroom, then you'll see this. Pero kung hindi naman po kayo na-invite kasi nga, for example, on the first day, dun palang bibigay ng email tapos orientation with your subject teacher, that's the time that they would let you know na ito yung i-access natin, di ba? So that's the time po that you would see it. Or some teachers, they might ask you to join the classroom instead. So those are the other options, okay? Marami nga kasing ways to access Google Classroom. So in here, pag ganito po, naka-receive na kayo ng email. If we will go back to my email, ayan no, there's a class invitation for PR2. So pag ganyan, pwedeng ito yung i-click ninyo, pwede rin pong dito, whichever floats your boat, or as I like to say it, whatever boats your float. Okay, so ayan, so ako, I'll join the classroom so I can see what it looks like. So this is the student access po. So please note that the account I am using is as a student. So you will see the same thing. Para syempre iba ang access ng teacher sa access ng students. All right, so this is the sample Google Classroom. There are sample posts in here po, just so you could see how it looks like. So in here, una, sa dashboard, so you have the hamburger icon, as we call it, kasi it looks like 3 stack lines. So we have the upper patty, the upper bun, the patty, and the lower bun. So hamburger icon ang tawag namin. Yeah. And then in here, so the other side, the right side of the screen, this is the waffle icon. So again, it looks like waffle. Diba? Siyam yung ano. And then in here is your account. Now, this is something I want you to remember. When you log into Google Classroom, I am sure lahat kaming teachers makakarinig, ma'am, nawawala yung Google Classroom ko. Okay, first of all, calm down. Your Google Classroom is not lost. Okay? Hindi siya biglang nawala sa kung saan kawalan. It's just there. Most likely po, if you're using your own device, whether it's your cell phone or your laptop or your PC, syempre may personal Gmail kayo. Most of you meron. So whatever personal email is logged in there, pwedeng sa'yo yan, pwedeng sa kapatid mo, pwedeng kina mommy, kina daddy, I don't know. Pero whoever is using it, kaninong personal email man po yung nakasync dyan, by default, usually, sila yung nilalog in ng Google Classroom. So don't be surprised if pagpasok mo dito sa may stream, or rather dito sa may dashboard, nawawala lahat ng classroom mo. Or there's just this join or create a class. Yeah, so if that happens po, calm down, click on the picture on the upper right of your screen, and then double check that your account is at olops.edu.ph. Okay? That's for your basic troubleshooting po. It changes. Lalo na kung nag-open kayo in a new tab, minsan nagpapalit po talaga siya. So, kalma ka lang, palit lang ng account. It's there. So, yon. So, I've also forgot to mention one way of joining the class is by entering the code. So, this is what I mentioned kanina na maybe some teachers, instead of inviting you by email, kasi possible na they don't have the emails yet of the sections that they will be handling, so to save time, ibibigay niya yung code. Tapos kayo yung mag-join. So, that's one way. You go to Classroom, click on the plus sign beside the waffle icon, and then click on Join Class. So, that's another one. Let's go back to our classroom. Now, in here po, sa Classroom, there are 3 tabs that you need to take note of. Actually, dalawa rito ang pinakagamit ninyo. We have the stream, we have the classwork, and we have, see, di ba, meron siyang tutorial. There you go. And we have people. There you go. So first, let's have the stream, okay? So stream po, think of it as the homepage. Kung si Google Dashboard, yun yung parang pinaka-homepage niya for all of your Google Classrooms. Stream would be your homepage or your news feed for that specific class. Sipin mo Facebook to at ito yung news feed mo. Okay? Now, in here po, this is the same, the section, the classroom name, which is the subject code. This is your section. And then this is the Meet link. The Meet link po that's in here would be the Meet link that you would use with your teacher. May times po na possible na hindi niyo siya nakikita, baka ni-restrict ni teacher. May times din po na nandyan lang siya. Okay? So, that's what you're supposed to use for your online classes para hindi kayo naliligaw Okay, so andyan lang siya. You just click on it, and then it opens the Meet link. So let's try it, okay? So ayan, naka-online ako, di ba? Login lang. Pag dyan ka po nag-click ng Meet link, hindi na po magbabago to. So that's still your OLOPS email. So ayan, needs to access. So syempre you have to confirm that. Kasi, ayan, so allow both. And then, kasi ginagamit ko siya for recording. So ayan po, yan yung mangyari. Let's just click on join now. Okay, that's it. So let me just close that one. So it's for me. Now in here on the left side of your screen, this short or small box rather, the upcoming, this is where your upcoming tasks are listed. So kung more than one ang mayroon dyan, then you would see everything. Nakalagay din po ang due date. Possible na merong time na in-indicate si teacher mo, or possible din na wala, date lang. So that's already an internal arrangement between you and your subject teachers po. You could also click on view all para makita mo kaagad ano yung mga work mo, yung mga task mo na hindi mo pa nagagawa. So as you notice, ayan. For example, for me, meron po ako 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Meron akong 6 na tasks na nag-aabang. When you just see assigned, ibig sabihin po, hindi mo pa yan ginagawa. Okay? You have to comply with this one. But the reason why it's saying assigned and not missing is because wala pong due date na nakalagay. Like ito naman, hindi pa niya talaga due date. So, assigned pa siya. But the moment you go past the due date po, then you see missing in red. So, syempre po, huwag tayong mangungolekta ng maraming missing. Okay? Ang hirap nun. So, ayan po. You could also group them kung gusto mo ba all, or kung ayaw mo na makita yung assign, gusto mo yung assigned lang, gusto mo yung missing, or pag ni-return ni teacher, malamang sa research maraming ganyan, kasi yung first draft na-return na, so edit nyo na naman, it happens. So there you go. So that's one way. For you to go back, either you click on this one, or you just click on the back button. Wala pa po siyang dedicated button for going back to the stream. So Google is hopefully working on that na. The other Google certified educators like me have already sent feedback po na those are some of the features that would be very helpful for the students. So sa stream, ayan po, you could just click on this one. Kung mari gusto mo malaman ano yung subject code, just click on this button. It gives you more information. So subject is Practical Research 2 or PR2, and the room is of course Google Classroom because we don't have the physical rooms at virtual na tayo. Now this part, please remember that all your data is protected by the Data Privacy Act. So we hope na you respect your classmates' rights as well to privacy, kasi may classmates kayo na they don't feel comfortable that their picture is being taken without them knowing. So in our virtual setup, whenever we are in the Meet or we are in the classroom, please don't do screenshots without permission. Kasi again, we have to consider the other people. Some people, they don't like leaving digital footprints. Some of you are very active in social media. So mag-a-adjust po tayo sa bawat isa. So there. So you can close that. It's closed by default. Pero if you just wanted to know more information. And then in here in the stream, this is a sample announcement. So you could comment. This is a post from your teacher. Okay? So yan po ang sa stream. Of my announcement sa teacher or merong bagong task, usually dyan nyo siya makikita. Okay? And then some classrooms would have the setup na you are allowed to post by your teacher, while some would have this setup na the student is not allowed to post. You could only comment. So more on preferences na lang po ito ng teacher. So depende na lang po kung ano yung nasa classroom ninyo. But of course, if you're given the liberty to post in your classroom, please don't abuse it. Don't flood the news feed or the stream, kasi you could actually keep on getting emails na someone posted in the stream, and that's a bit annoying. So yung iba, i-off yung notifications nila. But if they off the notifications, then hindi rin sila makaka-receive ng notification that there's an assigned task or an assignment. Tapos mamimiss nila yun. So there. Yeah. So that's for your stream. Now the second one is the classwork. So I would like to think of the classwork as the heart of your Google Classroom. That's because everything you need for this semester is in here. You would see the different topics, you would see your handouts, you would see your discussions, you would see your assigned tasks, lahat po nandito siya. So this is how your classwork tab would look like. So in here po are different shortcuts. So kung gusto mong all topics ang nakikita mo, then if you scroll down, syempre konti lang to kasi sample account lang. Pero if marami na yan, syempre scroll ka dyan, di ba? Or if you want, imbis na scroll ka ng scroll, you could just go to the lesson in here because these are what we call the topics. So, kumari yung hinahanap mong assignment na sa lesson 1. Edi punta ka sa lesson 1 dito para ang makikita mo lang is everything posted under lesson 1. Whether it's the handouts, the presentation, or the task. Tapos kapag tapos ka na dyan and you want to work on lesson 2, you may do so. So, please don't expect na your classrooms would have something under classwork na agad-agad kasi possible na si teacher would post it just after your discussion or after your class. So, ayun po. Depende sa pagkaka-prepare. So, there. So, let's go back to all topics. So, ayan. Makikita nyo rin yung name. So, there are different logos that you need to take note. The one with the book is usually for handouts. So, test lang po siya. So, wala talagang handout dyan. Pero yun, usually it's for the PowerPoint or kung mag-send ng handout niya sa teacher. Andyan siya. This one po, the one that looks like a clipboard with the squiggly, the lines on it, that's usually for either an assignment or a test. So, yan po yung mga babantayan natin. It also, if you would notice, it also has the due date. So, we have to learn how to manage our time as always as students. So, ayan po, you can also keep track of it in here. So, ayan. And then this one is usually a question. Pwedeng wrap-up question to na pinapasagot ng teacher. And then you get, I don't know, bonus points or candy. Yay! So, yeah, depende pa. So, there. Now, this one is the same as the upcoming box. So, if you click that, again, makikita mo, ayan, ano ulit yung hindi mo pa nagawa, ano yung naasal na sa'yo. So, you could see that. And this one is the meet. Ayan, it's the same link kanina. So, kung wari nandito ka, tapos yung magkaklase na kayo, nagre-review ka, tapos pag-meet na, imbis na lilipat ka pa dito, you could go here and then click on Meet. However po, if nakatago yung Meet link from the screen, wala hindi na yung nakikita, when you go to Classwork, wala rin po siya dyan. Okay? Google Calendar, this is one way for you to keep track of all your tasks that are due for different dates. So for example, meron kang ang due date bukas, meron ka sa Monday, meron ka sa Friday, kunwari lang po, all classrooms with the Google Calendar, if you check po, lalabas silang lahat doon. So that's one way for you to double check na baka Hell Week ba next week? Those are the terms I hear usually from the kids. Kung Hell Week ba next week or medyo chill, ayan po, you could see all of those. And the class drive folder, this leads to your Google Drive. Now for your OLOPSCian email, we're pleased to let you know that we have unlimited storage po. So, you don't have to worry na masyado malaki yung file. You could just upload in Google Drive and then you send the link to your teacher or your classmates if you need to collab po. So, hindi na kayo mamumblema na ma'am, hindi pwede i-attach kasi you can just upload it in Google Drive. So, ayun po. Ayan. So, andyan siya lahat po. Okay? So, that's for your classwork. Very easy. So, ayan. And lastly, people. People is we're kind of like a directory, if you would. For privacy po, you don't see the email addresses of your classmates. Okay? So, it's up to them if they will give it out. Again, you are given accountability and some form of control over your personal identifiable information or PII. Whether you choose to give it out or not is up to you. So, we always just would remind you to be cautious po. So, ayan, kaya niyan, sa student test account classmate mo, you don't see the email. So, kahit i-click mo yan. So, you can either, if you will collab via email, you can ask them politely to give out their email. Now, sa teachers po, there could be more than one teacher in your classroom. So, syempre, kilala mo naman siguro sino ang subject teacher mo. Okay, so, for the teachers, however, it's a different scenario. You can see our email addresses. So you could click on the icon or actually hover on the icon, tapos makikita nyo na Or if you really want to email me, but click on that one, then mag-open po siya sa Gmail automatically. So kung nakalagin ka with your OLOPS email, then lalabas naman siya dyan. Please make sure lang po na when you send emails, you make sure na you are in your OLOPS email, ha? Yan. So, I'll email the teacher. So, ayan, then the subject, and then you send it. So, yun po. Just make sure that you are in the OLOPS email. Para syempre, your teacher's credentials is also protected po. Okay? So, let's avoid asking the teachers to respond to personal emails po. Kasi we also don't recommend that para to protect their own din. So, ayan. That's for the teachers. So, that's actually how Google Classroom works. It's really user-friendly, and then tatlong tab lang. So, wag yun ang guluhin yung mga sarili nyo, okay? But these are the two most used. I think in here, more on kapag siguro kailangan nyo lang i-email sa teacher for any concerns. Now, let's go back to classwork. Kasi ito yung usual na nakita kong opportunity with my students last year when we used Google Classroom. Submitting assignments. So, let's test this one. Sample homework. So, let's click. Okay. So, in this one po, this is how a sample assignment would look like. So, this is the title of the assignment, the name of the teacher who assigned it, kailan siya na-assign. Then, this is the due date po. Okay? So, in here are the instructions, but as you can see, it's just a keyboard smash. Kasi, test ano lang siya. And then, you have the option of commenting in here. Okay, next. Got it. Okay, so meron naman po siyang tutorial, lalo na pag na-sense niya na first time mo i-explore yung Google Classroom. Or if kaka-login mo lang as there are changes in the Google Classroom platform, it will automatically ask you to explore around with those help to or how to tips. So automatic po yun. Nire-roll out siya ni Google for the updates. So ayan. So this is your work. Now, if you need to submit something, for example, Google Docs, pero ma'am, wala kasi kami internet. So, what I do is, pag po binigay niyo yung assignment, may Word naman po yung laptop ko or yung gamit po, doon na lang po ko gumagawa. Tapos mamaya attach ko na lang. Pwede po ba yun? Yes, pwede po. So, for this one, if for example, magsasubmit ka nga, di ba? So, pwedeng, ayan, file ko nakasave siya sa iyong device, or kung nag-Google ano ka naman na Google Drive, nasa Google Drive mo, pwede rin po. Pwede rin gagawa ka ng bagong docs. Gusto mo sa docs ka magtatrabaho. It's also okay. Whatever you prefer, go ahead po. Unless, of course, may specific instructions po sa teachers. So, once you submit here, let's just do a sample attachment ha, para makita nyo. So, for example, kumari mag-upload ako. Okay. So, kumari ito. Those were some of my old students. I'm sorry, I had to see that. Okay, ayan. So, all right. So, ayan. So, kita mo may prompt. So, kumari, ayan yung isasubmit ko kay ma'am. You have to click on turn in. There. Sometimes po kasi, the students will just do the attachment and then they forget that they have to still turn it in. Hindi nila tinitindot yun. So, minsan, sa end po namin teachers, when we check yung, nakita nyo, di ba kayo na yung summary ng mga task, nakalagay sa inyo, assign, or kung wala lagpasan ng due date, nakalagay missing. Tapos pag select namin, yung pala, may attachment naman. Hindi nilang click yung turn in. So, please don't forget that. Parang hindi rin kayo, minsan kasi hindi na na-check yung teacher individually. So, we help out the teacher as well, di ba? Mali naman po, kalapisan, tulungan si teacher pa minsan-minsan. So, yun, pag nag-submit ka na, what if, ma'am, maling file yung na-attach ko. Paano po yun? Pwede nyo po ba i-cancel? We don't have to cancel anything from our end. Kasi, all you have to do is go back to the assignment, and then you click on unsubmit. Ayan na, may option to remove the file. Okay? So, while I remove ko siya, tapos I will look for the new file, then we may do so po. Ayan. So, this one, the box underneath, the private comments box, if you will comment in here po, it's only your teacher who can see it. Okay? It's your subject teacher po. So, kung may tanong about the assignment, you're not sure how to proceed, or medyo naguluhan ka sa instructions, you may type in here po. Pero kung gusto mong you're speaking for the class, maybe someone asked you na, baka pwede mong tanongin si ma'am for us, you may instead comment on the class comments. So again, class comments po, this is saved on the assignment itself. Nakikita po ito ng lahat ng kaklase mo sa Google Classroom na yon. Whereas on the private comments po, the one that will be able to access this is just your teacher po, no one else. So if you prefer that, that's okay. If gusto mo sa class comments, that's also okay. Depende na lang sa arrangement ni teacher. As long as you reach out to your teacher, of course. So, yan po yung isa nyong ino-note sa classwork. Kasi, yan ang madalas na opportunity namin. May attachment, pero hindi nila turn in. So, on our end, lumalabas parang ganyan pa rin. Assign. Yun. So, that's po. I hope you learned something new or you learned how to navigate Google Classroom easily, more easily, kung familiar na kayo before. And I am your resident Google go-to. So just reach out po so I can assist you. So that ends our orientation for your Google Classroom walkthrough. And I hope na mayroon po kayong ng bago if hindi man napabuti kung ano na yung alam niyo about Google Classroom. So I will leave our email address in the comments section para you know where to. I will leave our email in the subscription. Yeah, so I will leave our email in the description box po, or in the caption para you know where to reach us if ever you have any concerns po. And students, you are required to fill out the Google form as proof po na you watched our orientation because this is required. For parents po who are watching this, ma'am and sir, thank you so much for dedicating some of your time this weekend in watching our tutorial po for Google Classroom in order to help out your kids. So we really appreciate po because we know that parents can be busy. So for the parents po, you can also fill out a Google form so that you may receive a certificate of appreciation for attending our senior high school orientation for the Google Classroom. So again, this is Ma'am Nat, and it has been my honor to guide you on how Google Classroom and the OLOPSCian works. So again po, for any questions, just feel free to reach out via email or in the comment section so that we can help you out. So OLOPSCians, we will see you po on August 5. Thank you and goodbye.